Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm Courtney.
And I'm MK.
And how are you?
You know, my car's in the shop. Um, I broke a nail like less than a week after I got them done.
Oh,
Uh, I had a complete mental breakdown about how I have no friends. But I emailed the dean of education at my college to talk about going back to school.
yeah?
I I sent my sister all the itinerary stuff I needed to send her to try to figure out what's going on with London. I changed when my Jagged Little Pill tickets are so that Dan and I can actually go together, even though he has rehearsal on the night of our normal tickets.
Nice.
I assigned all of my final projects for my students, so I have very little actual teaching left to do. And I went to Cheesecake Factory and got Cinnabon
Ah,
cheesecake.
there you go. It's the way to top it all
So,
off.
yeah, so the weekend wasn't a complete wash.
I also sent my final details to your slash my travel agent to finalize my cruise plans this week. So
Beautiful.
I'm sure she's busy, and your mom is there. So
Yeah, I literally was like, she's not going to be planning anything right now because mom is in town.
yeah,
But let me send her everything before I forget.
that's what I did too.
Because I've been doing a lot of, oh my God, I just remembered something. Let me do it right
Mhm.
now. Like the video I sent you on Friday.
Which
Yeah.
thing ever?
What?
Oh, you mean the one on Snapchat? That one I did
Oh,
see. I thought you were
yes.
talking about the TikTok.
No, 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 no. The TikTok I sent you was just about Roman Godfrey.
Right.
But the video I sent you on Snapchat was more important.
Right. Yes. Yes. That's real life.
Yeah. But yeah, so I am very
Love
much just
that.
like 1 month until I leave for England.
You've got this. You've got this. It's not even quite a
I'm
month, but totally. Oh, it is like exactly a
no,
month, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly it
I
is.
keep thinking you
Um,
leave the 26th because it's our last day of recording, and that makes no sense. So
no, I leave the
in my
29th. In
head,
fact, my countdown right now says 30 days, 23 hours, and 1 minute.
oh, I got to set a countdown on my phone. I love those.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
Um, I also am still convinced that I'm going to get engaged while I'm in London.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So,
I will be waiting with bated breath on my cruise ship. But I think we probably have Wi-Fi. If we don't, I'll probably like pay for it if it's like not $1 million.
right,
So tell me as soon as you know
of course.
if it happens.
Yeah, of course. How are you?
Well, I have, as I talked about last week, just kind of doing some self-care, like setting myself now that I'm not at the bar anymore as of 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so, aside from like working on my like client stuff that I was like backed up on, setting up meetings and stuff,
Yeah.
a couple of years, I buy a new gaming system.
Oh boy.
So 2 years ago, it was the Switch, and I'm still playing it pretty avidly. I've been playing this game called Cuphead that my friend, when I said, should I get this game? I think I'd like it. He says, if you have no patience, you shouldn't get this game. And so I said, I don't have any patience. I think I'm going to get it. He said, okay. So I got it and then didn't play it for a month because I have no patience. It made me
Yeah.
angry. But I'm starting to get really good at it. But much more importantly, um, I Friday was like, you know what I need? I need a new game. I need a new game set. I need a new life. So I bought a VR headset.
Great.
And it is the best decision I've ever made in my life. It's a little warm being summer because it coats your head, but I have been listening to, and that's why we drink, obviously. And
Obviously.
Em keeps talking about this game they got called Star Tenders, and you bartend in space. It's so fun. And I am so clumsy. I've broken so many glasses, like so much more than in real life. And you have like, you just serve an aliens drinks, and it's so fun. And I found this like immersive, like murder mystery I'm going to download next. And it's just the light of my life right now. And
I
so
love that.
when you told me today, you were like, I'll be ready in 15 minutes. I was like, I could do one more shift. And so I played one more shift on my game. And then I got myself together and
I
came
love
to
that.
record.
I love
But
that.
yeah, so I'm thriving. I am kind of becoming a person again, which I feel like I haven't been in almost 2 years. So that's fun.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just kind of like taking it a day at a time and being a person. And you know what helps me take it a day at a time and be a person?
What
My
is that?
spirituality.
You know, I think today's quote is just really, really beautiful. And
Mm.
it's short, it's sweet, it's simple, but it says, some people walk through the rain, others just get wet. Roger Miller.
Aw,
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love rain.
me too. I want to be the person that walks through the rain and doesn't just get wet.
You walk in it, you dance in it.
Yeah.
It's good for everything. You can cry in it. No one knows. It's so good for so many reasons.
Yeah.
Adore the rain. And now we've talked about all of these happy things in our life. Let's talk about American Horror Story. For those of you who don't know and are just tuning in, we are now on season 1, episode 8, and it is entitled Rubber Man. And if you have watched this season, you know that this is one of the episodes of the season that defines a lot and explains a lot. And I don't think Mary Kate's handling it very well.
I'm not. No, I am.
Yeah.
I am not.
So it aired November 23rd, 2011. It was rated 7.9 out of 10.
Is it November 23rd? Isn't that your birthday?
No, my birthday's the 12th.
No, you're right.
That's like thanks. Yeah, I'm right.
No, I feel like somebody's birthday is on the 23rd.
Thanksgiving sometimes is on the 23rd.
Your birthday's at the 12th. My brother's anniversary is on the 11th. Who the fuck am I thinking of on the 23rd?
Are you in the right month?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Ignore me forever.
You got it. The number one song in the movie have not changed. We Found Love and Breaking Dawn are still hanging in there. However, the number one book, apropos, is Stephen King's 11/22/63. So everyone in this world was like, this is the 22nd. Everyone needs to read this book. So the 23rd, it was number one. That's my understanding.
That's fair. I mean,
I just made it up.
11/22/63 is so good.
I've heard it's incredible. I haven't read it. So I just like to make up stories about it.
Perfect. That's fair.
But, love a JFK conspiracy though. So definitely on my list.
Right.
So on the
I think Nancy and Montana and I watched the Hulu miniseries 5 times.
That is quite a lot of times to watch it, but I heard that you're not the only one. Like quite a bit of people really enjoyed it. I'm sorry, my laptop started dying and I have too many cords plugged in. I can't find the one that I need to plug into my give me like 2 seconds. This one is unplugged from anything else. Okay. So all of my new devices have the exact same cord. And
That's
so
annoying.
they're plugged into other things. And I was like, I don't know. Anyways, on this day, I don't have a lot of happier news than you have. But 6 people died in an air crash in the Superstition Mountains, which I had never heard of. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're in or right outside of, I don't remember, Phoenix. And they're said to be where like gold rush things happened. And so there's all these like craters, and a guy said that that's where he dug up all the gold that he like secretly had, and then other people said that that's where he like he would steal things and then he would dig up these holes and say that that's where he found it. And then other people say that that's the entrance to the end of the earth. So, take that for what you will. Superstitions.
Ah.
This is the 23rd, the day before Thanksgiving that year. So we're getting ready for Thanksgiving. It's my first year of college. I think this is when I had the flu. No, that was my second year of college. For Thanksgiving, I had the flu. It was my second year I had the flu.
So this is November 2011?
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been your first year, my second year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you need a reminder, things that were popular were Rage comics and planking. So that sets the mood
I
for
don't
you.
need any reminders of the fall of 2011. I really that was the semester that I had a roommate who was an exchange student from Peru who refused to speak to me, but used a Nextel walkie-talkie phone in our dorm room all of the time to talk to people in Peru. So then I begged my friend Megan, who was transferring to the school the next semester, to request to be my roommate so that I didn't get stuck with another foreign exchange student.
So funny.
Also, it was the first semester that I was dating Brent. So like
a lot was happening emotionally that semester. Yeah, I was just starting out college fresh and whatnot.
Yeah.
And also not on the 23rd, but on the 18th, Minecraft was released. 2011.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm that old.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yep, you were. I had that same thought.
Shit. I was in college already when Minecraft came out.
Apparently.
Oh.
Yeah. The director is Miguel Arteta, known for The Good Girl, Alexander and the No Good, Very Bad, Horrible Day, or whatever. I didn't write the full title because it's 1,000 words long.
It is, in fact.
Youth in Revolt. Yeah, Youth in Revolt and Duck Butter. I've only heard of this Alexander one, but he won awards for like the rest of them.
Okay.
So great. I guess they were good. They did well. And then he's like directed some other stuff we'd heard of, but I guess he's only done like a couple episodes because they weren't ranked high in his list. The writers are the same. Ryan Murphy, Brad Palchuk. The editor is Fabian Bouville. I did this 3 episodes ago. He was the editor for Halloween Part 2, which is episode 5. So we've already talked about him. But now it is time to talk about one of my favorite people in American Horror Story universe, Lily Robb, who plays Nora. I think it's
definitely you've already talked about her.
I have not.
Oh no, just kidding. You have not.
I've referenced her quite a bit.
Yes,
because she kept being just one notch down on the cast list, and I was like, good. I was like, I know this person's not coming back, so I'm gonna talk about them this week. Like,
right.
She is. Fun fact: she is one of the only there's 3 people in the American Horror Story universe who have been in every season, and she's one of them. So I knew I would get to her at some point, even if it wasn't early on in the season.
Fantastic.
She is known for, obviously, American Horror Story. That's where I knew her from. Miss Stevens, No Reservations, Fractured.
I love No Reservations.
I also really love No Reservations.
Wait, what was the last one you said?
All Good Things.
Oh, I don't know that one.
I haven't heard of any of those. And she's been in a lot of other shows and stuff, but it was quite a bit. So I didn't list them. These were just the ones she was known for the most. She was, because we're talking about the Tonys and they're right around the corner, 4 days away. She was nominated in 2011 for the Best Actress in The Merchant of Venice.
Fantastic.
Super fun. So now that all the fun stuff's out of the way, we start 6 months ago, where in walks the rubber man. And then we go to movers who are moving things into the house. Nora is walking around the house and wailing. She's basically the white lady ghost that you always hear about. Um, she's upset because they're changing her home. She can't find her baby. All of these things are happening, and then a creepy hand comes to her shoulder and starts asking her, like, what can be done? And she's like, I just want a baby. Where's my baby? And they're like, oh, you just want a baby? You got it. And then we see the rubber man and a flashback to the rubber man. And it's Tate. So before we move forward, I'd like to hear your thoughts, feelings. Let me know if we need to have a therapy session, if you had any idea, like.
So, sorry, I'm getting real serious right now.
Yeah.
Last weekend, I went to get my hair done, and I saw Monica. And she said, who do you think the rubber man is? I said, I have no idea. These are all my thoughts and theories. I go, right now, my biggest thing that I'm leaning to is that it is like probably the ghost of Charles, or like or like Constance's dead husband, because it is a fucking sick piece of shit and she's got demon babies in her. So that's my thoughts. And I also told her about our conversation about my lack of understanding people's mixed feelings on Tate until the school shooting episode, and then my horrible need to protect him as a teacher. And she said, I will not have any conversations with you, but when you watch the episode, The Rubber Man, please call me. So this morning, I called her. Immediately, she answered with like 3 rings and was like, are you okay? I was like, I'm at the credits. Did not even go farther than the credits. I'm at the credits. I did not finish the episode. I'm not okay. I will never be okay. What the actual fuck is happening? I can't. Fuck the show. I can't. It not only did my jaw quite literally hit the floor, and then I tried to pause the episode and like got so flustered that I almost played the next episode and almost broke Doug and Dan's TV. I also do not understand the build-up for his character has been all in one direction, and then LOLJK, no. I hate everything about the show. I refuse to watch another episode. Except for that, if I don't watch another episode, my last thoughts of the show will be Tate as the rubber man, and I can't do that either. So I'm not okay, and I'm drinking.
I want you to know I very specifically could not ask you your thoughts about Rubber Man like every week, because I didn't trust myself not to react to your, like, what's the word? Predictions. I did not trust myself to not react to your predictions, so I just didn't ask. I was like, we'll just talk about it when we get there. I don't have it in me any other way. Yeah, it's so your only experience with Ryan Murphy is Glee, right?
Glee and the assassination of Gianni Versace.
Oh, right. I haven't watched that, but that's at least like based on something else already. Like,
correct.
So it's not just out of the mind of Ryan Murphy.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would like to personally charge him with my therapy bills.
I feel like half of the world would.
Fuck you, Ryan Murphy.
Well, but also you're a genius. Don't listen to her. Just listen to me.
No, fuck you. Because I could have handled this whole show. Because this whole episode was the first time that I was genuinely scared watching the show. And I could have handled everything that you did in this episode and all of the scary shit and all of it. But then you also took the only character that I have any sympathy for at all, and took away every ounce of sympathy that I have. So now the show is fucked up, and I don't care about a single person left on it. You killed Addie, and now you made Tate the bad guy. So why the fuck do I still care about any of them?
We still have 4 episodes left, folks. You just don't even know. You just don't even know.
I still have to talk about the rest of this episode when I have nothing else to say.
That's okay. I have quite a bit, so I'm sure I will bait you in some way, and you'll respond. Yeah. So, biggest reveal of the season as of yet, and it's that Tate is indeed the Rubber Man. And I always wonder, because I watched it the first time, and so I saw the reveal, but never finished the season because I've told the story 1,000 times. I was watching it, and then me and Caitlin got busy, and I couldn't watch it by myself. So I knew that he was Rubber Man. But when I went back to watch it, I finally watched the whole season through. But this was like 10 years later, and so I
Forgot?
No, I remembered, but I didn't. So I didn't have, I feel like, accurate feelings because I already knew what to expect going in. Even though I didn't know like the end of the season, I knew at least the plot twist. So it's always fun for me to hear what other people think when they have the actual experience that I don't remember me having. But yeah, so now we're back. We go back to the present after the credits, and it's Marcy, Amora, and Vivian. And Vivian, if you recall, we left off with her finding the picture, or with Violet showing her the picture of Nora in front of the house, and her realizing that was the woman who came to look at the house. So now she's telling Marcy and Amora, and she's like, Nora was in the house. I saw her. I don't know what's happening. And she's like, there's no one left of that family. She's like, I heard in the tour, like, her child died. She died. Like, there's no one else. And they're like, you've heard of, like, doppelgangers. She's like, absolutely not. I'm not even gonna, like, think about that.
That's not how that fucking works.
Exactly. And they, like, are just blowing her off, which obviously, like, Moira knows because she's also a ghost. But she's trying to, like, play it down. And Marcy is just being a jerk about it. She's like, no, you've lost your mind. She's like, that is not real. That can't be happening. It's a doppelganger. And then she's like, I gotta go. I gotta go call Joe. He's not answering. And she's like, and then Viv's like, yeah, where is he? He already said he'd put the down payment on it. He has not come get the house yet, and I'm ready to go. And she's like, ooh, do you think he's a ghost too? And I was like, ready to punch her in the face. I was like, I cannot deal with this woman ever again. She's the worst human on the planet. I understand we just saw this whole big reveal with Tate, but I was more mad at Marcy watching this episode in the beginning. And yeah, so she's a jerk. And we have quite a bit of flashbacks in the episode because we're connecting the Rubber Man story now.
Yeah.
So just hang with me. So we have our first flashback after post credits, and it's Chad. I can never remember his name, so every time I start my notes, I just say Zachary Quinto. But his name is Chad. And he's meeting up with one of his girlfriends, and he's talking about his failing relationship, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. I think he's cheating. We're supposed to have a baby, like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, you just got to figure it out. You got to go all in. She's like, you got to look at everything. You got to talk to him. You got to do what you got to do. And she's hardcore. And then he does mention, I don't know if you caught this because it was kind of subtle, but he said, he was like, yeah, he's like hiding his phone. He's doing all this stuff. He's even started sleepwalking. And I was like, sounds familiar.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. So husband, which I never remember his name either. So he's just husband.
Pat. Pat. It's Pat.
Pat. So we learn very briefly that Pat has been sleepwalking. And then he goes,
don't like that.
No, it's not great news. So then we go home, and he's digging through his computer that's been left open, or he's talking about when he went home and saw, like, his computer was left open, and he's in these, like, chat rooms for, like, S&M stuff, and he's, like, really uncomfortable with these relationships he's having with other people, obviously. And
Mm-hmm.
so she's like, you just got to do it. You just got to be in this S&M world. You just got to dive right in. Get your husband
Yeah.
back. He's worth fighting for. And I was like, okay, we'll see. I haven't made a decision on him.
Right.
He's the one who keeps making these crazy decisions. Chad's just trying to
Correct.
build this beautiful house and have a baby. That's all he wants to do. But
Yeah.
fine. So he goes to a sex shop and he is very disturbed, and which
Yeah.
I
He
think I would
doesn't,
also be. It's fine.
yeah, he does not know how to handle being in that location.
Right. So he's trying to like figure out what he can handle. And he's like, okay. He was like, maybe like a muzzle. He says I talk too much. And I was like, that feels safe enough.
Right. I
And
was like,
he's
I think that's a great first choice.
that seems fine. That like you don't feel restrained. Like worst you can do is like not talk. Fine. And so the guy's like, if you're feeling brave and you're thinking about muzzles and whatnot, why don't you look at this sex suit that hangs? I was like, that is a very, very large leap, man. And
Correct. That we went from 0 to 100 very quickly on that one.
yeah, and he just like straight up convinces him to get it. And I was like, would not, would not have done that, but fine. So he buys the sex suit that we've obviously seen all season as Rubberman's suit.
Yes.
So he shows up at home in this suit to, you know, spice things up with Pat. And Pat is such a jerk. He's like,
Oh yeah,
I'm
no.
busy.
He's
You're
like,
obnoxious.
yeah.
And poor Chad is just trying to make things better because they've been talking about having a baby. They bought a house. Like obviously he's like he knows that Pat's doing all this stuff behind his back, but instead he's like,
Right.
let's fix our relationship as opposed to just like throwing it away. Pat does not care. And then we learn that they're broke, so they don't really have anywhere to go if they lose the house, which seems to be the running theme for people who
Yeah, I
buy
would
this
say
house.
that sounds like a trend.
Yeah. And so then he just like Chad tells him he has to go, and he's like, can't put up with you anymore. And he's just devastated. And
Yeah.
Chad's crying. We jump back to present day, and now Nora's crying again. Again, just like the white lady who cries in all of the horror stories.
Right.
Um, but while Nora's sobbing, none other than Hayden comes in. So
Fuck that
she
girl.
starts being like, get it together. Nora, we learn, much like Tate, has no idea she's dead.
Correct.
And which is really sad thinking about like she's going through this house. She's like, people just keep taking my stuff and moving my stuff, and my baby is missing, has no idea what's going on. I would also constantly be crying.
Oh yeah, no.
So I get it.
For sure.
And
If I did not know I was dead and I thought that there was like a chance that my child was still somewhere out there, I would also be very freaked out.
right. So she's telling Nora that she's dead essentially and trying to get her to understand. And she's like, you literally have a hole in the back of your head. And Nora just can't seem to like get it together,
No,
which
but
is like
Nora
totally
goes, what is that from? And she was like, it looks like an exit wound. And she goes, is this because of what happened to my baby? Like, yes, ma'am. That is what
yes,
happened.
100%. Yes. And so then Hayden's talking to Moira, and they don't get on very well. Because Moira loves Vivian, obviously.
Yeah.
And so she's telling her, she's like, do not um she's like, I don't know why you have to treat her this way. Like, she hasn't done anything to you. You're the one who came in stirring things up. Like,
Yeah.
just let her be.
Well, and Hayden says that there's a bunch of spirits trapped in the house, and some of them are innocent, beautiful spirits who have never done anything wrong and shouldn't be trapped to the house. And then we see her like tossing the ball with Bo, so she knows that Bo like
Yeah.
really did not deserve to die. She's like, and then some of them are like in on the game, in on the creepiness, and then it shows her talking to Moira. So like
Yeah.
even the other ghosts don't trust Moira.
Right. Which, like, is fair because Moira is very much committed to one, getting her bones out of the ground, and committed to connecting with whoever's in the family to convince them to get her bones out of the ground. So, like, I
Right.
get it.
Yeah.
And then we flip again with Hayden, and she is sleeping with Constance's husband. And it
Well,
turns
I'm
out,
just glad that he was there because I keep trying to figure out
yeah,
where he is in the house.
I thought of you when I saw him. I was like, Mary Kate's gonna be real glad we like finally see him.
I was like, oh,
Um,
good, he's there. Don't worry. I think
yeah,
that's
so she
actually
sleeps
exactly
with
what my
him.
note says. I think um, my note literally says, there's the hubby. That's all it says. There's
Yeah,
the hubby.
yeah. And so she sleeps with him and then immediately stabs him. Um, and
Like
then he
a
comes back to
bunch
life
of
because he's
times.
dead. Yeah.
Right.
So I guess that's like one way to get out your anger is to like stab dead people because they can't die again.
Yeah, but she does also
Um,
say that it doesn't actually satisfy her rage because every time he wakes
right.
back up, she just gets more pissed off that it didn't actually do anything.
Yeah. See, I think that's how I would be. I don't think it would like work for me either. That's totally fair. Um, so then she goes back to Nora and she's talking to her again. And she's like, she's pregnant. And because Nora's, of course, again, like, where's my baby? What's happening?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I had a baby too. And it's buried in the backyard in my bones. And I was like, oh, well, that's really dark. That's fine.
Right.
Um,
Well, and it also that begs the question of like, why is the baby not a ghost? I know it was unborn, but like, is she not still pregnant in death? Like, I don't, how does that work? What is the deal with dead babies? I don't, does
well,
that
maybe
mean
it's like
that
in the like Catholic sense, like unborn babies, like go
that's
to
true?
purgatory, right? Like
Right. They wouldn't be
they
there
wouldn't
because
stay in the
then
body.
also like then think about how many weird dead babies would be is trapped in the basement from the abortion clinic.
Yeah,
Oof,
yeah,
that would be
true.
really like unsettling on so many
Oh,
levels.
that would be worse than what's already there, I think.
I think so too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so she's talking about all these babies, and she's like, look, here's the thing. You want a baby. I want a baby. She's pregnant with twins. Let's just take her babies. And Nora's like, what? We can do that? And she's like, yeah, look, she's going to end up in the quote unquote loony bin. And I was like, this
Yeah.
is not going well. This is not starting well. That's
No,
fine.
she's like babies need moms and she's cuckoo. We can't raise a baby in a loony
Yeah.
bin. I was like, you also can't raise a baby
While dead.
when yeah, well literally dead.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. So we know that Hayden's up to no good. Um, so we go back to Vivian, who hears something in the house, and she's wandering around. Obviously she's losing her mind, not like she's not wrong in what she's hearing and seeing, but
but
emotionally she's
also
losing her
she's like
mind.
for sure losing her mind.
Yeah. And she sees the red ball that Hayden was playing with Bo with just roll across the floor. And then she turns on the light and there's nothing there, which is super creepy.
Right.
And then stuff just starts breaking. And we see Hayden pop up, obviously, because she's the one doing it. And she starts getting freaked out. She runs to the bathroom, and the mask of the rubber man is like on the sink. And then we go back to a flashback. And it's the one that we've already seen, but
Oh,
it gets worse. So, did you
first of
have
all,
something to say? Or, okay.
I don't even know. To be honest, my biggest concern, first of all, it's gross. It's
Yes.
horrifically graphic. Is the first problem. The second problem is I literally could not understand for the life of me why Tate was killing Chad and Pat. Like I did not understand what the connection there was. Like I was very upset about
Do
it.
you get it now?
Yes, but like
Oh, okay, okay.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
and like I
Oh, you
even
meant in the beginning?
in the beginning, I was like, why? Like, why is this
Mm-hmm.
happening? Why? What?
Yeah, so we see our horrible murder scene that we've already seen once that ends a little more graphic than it did the first time. And we learned that he killed them because they are no longer going to bring a baby into the home, which he was planning on getting for Nora. And he needed to kill them to get someone new in the house that could then bring a baby in. And now it's present day. And Ben goes downstairs to see Violet rolling a ball with no one. And we know that Violet has been trying to roll the ball with Bo because she's now seen that he exists and that he's, obviously innocent and not harmful or anything.
Right.
Um, so he brings her upstairs and we learn that she hasn't been at school in 2 weeks.
Right.
because the school called him. No one else seems to have noticed that she hasn't been at the school, but that's fine. And so she tells him, she's like, yeah, she's like, no one noticed because mom is losing it, like just constantly.
Yeah.
And then Violet just starts being mean for like no reason. She's being super mean to like Ben. She's being super mean like about Vivian. And like he's just trying to help. And like I don't like
Yeah.
Ben as a person. Like he didn't
Correct.
deserve to be talked to like this because he is her father and he is good to her.
I
So then we go over to Vivian who's talking to Moira again. And she's like, I figured it out. She's like, I finally read the medication warnings for my last medicine the doctor gave me. And it says I could have hallucinations. So I'm just seeing things. It's totally fine. Should have prepared myself. Totally okay. And
and
Moira was like, yeah.
no, I could not figure out in this whole conversation. I was like, Moira, whose fucking team are you on? Like, I
I mean,
genuinely do not know. I do not know who you are working for.
I think she's super on Vivian's team. No one else's but Vivian's. Like, but she also, I think she also thinks that she can get Vivian to do whatever she wants. So it's like definitely a manipulation tactic, I think, still, but I do think it's Vivian. Because then she starts telling her about the yellow wallpaper, which we've vaguely talked about on this podcast a few times.
My note just says, that's my favorite.
This is what?
My note just says, oh my God, that's my favorite story.
Oh, yes.
I love the yellow wallpaper.
Me too. And I love the reference, which wasn't even like noted on IMDb, by the way. And I was like, it's like the most obvious reference that's ever happened, and it wasn't noted. Fine.
Well, I mean, because it wasn't really referenced. She literally just explained the plot of the story.
Well, yeah, yeah. But like they always tell like connections and stuff.
Yeah.
So she tells her the story of the yellow wallpaper, which we've talked about. The wife thinks there are women in the walls, blah, blah, blah. And then
Yeah.
she also tells her the history of hysteria and how that has come about, like because of women and with the moon and how doctors treated it. Very
Everything that she said
unsavory-like.
was everything that she said was 100% accurate.
Oh,
And
absolutely. In both instances, the story and the history of
yeah,
hysteria.
correct.
And then she gets to the end and she's like, I'm gonna be straight up with you. This house is haunted, dude. She's like, you gotta go. It's
Yes.
not good for you. Everyone's gonna think I'm crazy. You might think I'm crazy, but you've seen enough to know that it's the truth.
She was like, the house
It's
is
haunted.
possessed. Please leave.
Yeah. And to her credit, Vivian's like, great, done. And she
Yeah.
immediately goes upstairs, wakes up Violet, and she's like, we have to go to Aunt Joe's. We have to get out of here. And so they run downstairs and they get in the car, and Violet makes eye contact with Tate, who is not handling this well. And in the back seat are the two murder victims that broke into the house and tried to kill them because of that story in the second episode. And so they get out of the car and run back inside, and we see Hayden in the window because obviously she's the one starting everything, as she said. So then Ben comes over, and Vivian's telling him everything. She's like, because she had called the cops and they came and whatnot. And she's like, this is what happened. She's like, those people, they were in the car. Like, I saw the rubber man suit. Like, did you do this? And he's like, you are making everything up, or you don't know what you're saying. Which,
Right.
like, I understand, but it's also very incorrect. But it does sound like a lot if you don't know what's happening in the house.
Yeah.
And then after we've seen this whole Tate thing happen, we go back and it turns out him and Violet have slept together now, finally, which is like perfect timing when we find out just how messed up he is. So she's talking to him, and he's like, you can't tell your mom the truth because she's gonna try and take you out of here, and you just can't do that. And we go back to Vivian, who's like I said, this is where she's asking Ben if he planned everything. She's like, are you just trying to like get back with Hayden? Like, I saw her. I know she's in the house.
Oh my God. The level of unhinged that she was in her description of what she thought Ben did. I was like, while I think that you've lost your fucking mind, somehow all of that is more plausible than what's actually happening, and that's more
Right?
terrifying.
That's what I was
Like,
like. That sounds crazy, but also like if you're trying to not lose your mind, that's the most logical like explanation.
right. Like, based on what has happened, that is the only plausible way to describe that without admitting that there's fucking spirits in your house
Right.
trying to actively
So,
murder you.
right. So he tells her basically that she's going crazy. And he's like, "You didn't see anything." And she's like, "It's exactly what I told the cops." She's like, "It wasn't just me. Violet was there." So she's like, "Ask her." And he's like, "Great. I'll bring Violet down." And Violet lies. Like the liar she is. And it made me
Right.
so
I
mad.
was so angry. I
I
was
mean,
like,
I knew what happened and I still was mad about it.
I, I was like, ew, no, Vi. Don't lie to your parents for a
Mm.
boy. PSA to
And for
all
that boy,
teenage girls out there, don't lie to your parents for a boy.
absolutely not worth it.
Any boy who is asking you to open face lie to your parents, not a boy you can trust.
Yeah. Well, just to be fair, you cannot trust a boy. Let's just start there.
I trust my boy.
Okay, well, he's like a man now.
That's
We're
true.
talking to teenage girls.
That's true. Fair. Fair, fair,
Who
fair.
are our top demographic, I guess. I don't know where we've come from. I'm not sure any teenage girls listen to this podcast. But if you do,
Right.
PSA, don't trust boys.
Correct.
Um, so Ben says he's staying the night, which like, yes, that is the correct
That,
response.
yeah, he's not trying to stay the night in her bed. He's just trying to stay the night in the house because he thinks she's
Right.
lost her mind. That is the correct answer.
Yeah. So we go down to the basement and Hayden, again, stirring things up, is trying to now sleep with Tate.
Okay,
And Tate not having him?
when she
Yeah.
tried to throw herself at Tate, I literally was like, I understand that everyone's dead, but he's a teenager. That's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that is also true. I have a lot of reasons that she should not sleep with him, and that is one of them. That's one of them.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
mean, I have other reasons, but biggest red flag right there is he's
yes.
an underage ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, and he very much denies her, which like the one thing he's ever done right in the world. He's done a couple other good things like not having Violet kill herself and protecting her
And
when she's nervous,
and
etc.
stays and saving her and her mom from getting murdered by those weird
Sure.
people. Of
Right.
course, the way he went about it was then murdering them. So, like, maybe
Right, right. I mean, you pick and choose your battles. So Viv calls Marcy in to talk to her, which I thought was a terrible decision because I hate Marcy now. But
right.
see why at the end. So she's asking her about Joe, and she's like, I don't understand why he hasn't called back yet. Like, I really have to get out of this house. Is telling her about all of her ailments. She's like, I'm so sick. Like, all this sucks. I'm doing not well. And then she starts like having an episode of something. And Marcy's like, oh my God. She's like, can you just give me some water? And she does. Turns
Yeah.
out the whole reason she brought Marcy over there was to steal her gun, which like probably makes the most sense. Like she does do some logical things for someone who's got a lot mentally going on right now.
Yeah, except I feel like there has to be a different way to get a gun.
I mean, there probably is, but she like can't leave the house half the time without feeling sick. And that's the only one who she knows is going to bring a gun into the house for her. So that feels
Fair.
like an easy get, Like that wasn't a
Yeah, but
hard thing
that
to
also
do.
means you have to talk to Mercy.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. But if my life was at stake, I would probably talk to Marcy. Like, if that was the only hang up of saving my own
Yeah.
life, I would probably do
Yeah.
it. Um, so she goes around and searches the house before she goes to bed. And she starts hearing noises again. And she hears someone in the room, but she can't see them. And Rubberman attacks her, and she pushes her call button. And then someone runs in the room and she shoots them. And it just so happens to be Ben.
Yeah, no, I wrote, Tate, don't fucking do it. And then I just wrote, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And at this point I'm sitting in my car waiting for the tow truck, or I'm sitting in Dan's car waiting for the tow truck to get my car, watching it on my laptop. And he was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I tried to explain to him what happened in the episode only to really realize that he has no idea what I'm talking about.
And he probably thought you were a crazy person explaining it.
Probably. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I was like, Tate was gonna kill her, but then she shot Ben. He was like, who's Ben? I was like, her husband. He goes, oh God. And I go, yeah, but like she doesn't like him. This is
She
confusing.
doesn't like him. So like, and it was only in the leg. Like he didn't die. So, but yeah. So she calls the cops because she'd already pushed her call button. They all show up, and he's talking to him, and he's like, "Look, I'm totally fine. Everything's okay. It was a misunderstanding. My wife is going through a lot. I've given her some Valium." And then what's his face shows up. Luke, is that his
Luke.
name?
Yeah.
I keep his name is Amendio in Lucifer, and so that's what I keep
Yeah, yeah,
calling
yeah.
him. And that is not his name in this show.
No, it's not.
So Luke shows up and he's like, "You can't listen to this man. He's been terrible to her. Someone has to actually talk to her so we know she's not in trouble."
And Ben's like, okay, I don't know what the fuck you're on. I get you that you want to bone my wife, but quite
Right.
literally here are the sequence of events. And even Luke
And
is
he's
like,
like, "Oh,
oh, yeah, no, that's a lot.
that's a little sus." Yeah. So she's on Valium, Vivian, and she wakes up because Hayden is screaming in her face to wake up. And
Yeah.
Hayden takes her call button and starts like slams it on the ground, breaks it up, and then she starts telling Vivian that she's dead and that Rubber Man is the father of her babies. And then Rubber Man is on top of her on the ground, and then she kind of comes back to reality. It turns out it's Ben holding her down because she's having a psychotic break because of the dead people in her house that keep bothering her.
Right,
And
right.
then Luke is also there and is like, "Oh, she does seem to be having a psychotic break." And they are all sending her off to the psych ward. Violet comes in and says the car's ready for her. And then Tate shows up. We go to a flashback again. And it turns out the men had not completely died. Chad and Pat. He brings them down to the basement. You see them still breathing, and he takes them out. He takes their gun, shoots them both, and puts it in Chad's hand, and sets up the murder-suicide that we heard is what
Yes.
happened.
Now I have a couple comments about this scene. One, when Tate says to Moira, I have mommy issues. Do you know a good therapist? I almost choked. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Probably one of my least favorite moments of writing in the whole show. But then my other thought is that I don't know if it was on purpose. I don't know if it was something that most people don't pick up and I just saw it, or if it was something that they wanted me to notice, or if I'm just imagining it all. The gun that he used to kill Chad is Marcy's gun.
I'm sure it was like a stage prop gun. It just happened to be the same one because they used the same one in both scenes. I did not notice, but I would imagine that's what is the
Okay.
case.
Well, that's the thing is I didn't know if it was just like a very similar gun or if it was intentionally the same gun.
Yeah. I don't think so, because I think if she would have known, like, as insane as she is, I don't think she would have kept the, like, murder weapon as her gun, you know?
I don't know. Maybe she's a part of all of it. Maybe she's more insane than I think.
I mean, every time I see her, she's more insane than I think, so that's totally fair to
Yeah.
assume. Yeah. And, that's the end of the episode. Unfortunately, I don't have any trivia for you.
I don't want any trivia. I don't want to watch this show ever again.
Great. So we're going to jump right in then. And who do you want to punch?
Tate, what the fuck?
Yeah. Valid. Valid. This is probably not the next highest person in line to be punched, but it's who I want to punch.
Is it Marcy?
No. She should probably be above this person too. I want to punch Violet
Oh, no, for sure.
because,
Because she's literally fucking everything up because she's listening to a boy.
right. And she's sending her mom to a psych ward instead of helping her. And she knows that this is all going downhill because she's not doing her part. Like,
And she's sending him her mom to a psych ward because of a boy that she knows is dead. Like it's not like it's a
right.
secret anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's no future when you're dating a ghost, I imagine.
I mean,
So,
unless you also died. And
true. You never know
which
what this show is going to
there
try
was some
next.
weird foreshadowing about that because when he killed Chad and Pat, he was like, isn't it kind of actually romantic that now they get to be forever
Oh, right.
together forever? So like what is he just gonna have Violet fucking off herself once he figures out he's dead?
Well, he did save her once already, so
Because he doesn't know he's dead.
true, true. Yeah. So, who's your MVP of the episode?
It's just so weird. So weird.
Uh,
I'm so ready for all of the hate that's gonna come my way. My MVP of this episode is Ben.
like that's like totally fair. Like he reacted in the way that he understood to do correctly, and had Violet not lied,
Oh,
like it
right.
wouldn't have
No,
come
I mean
down. So like,
he reacted to the situation that was around him based on all of the reality that he is aware of in the best way to protect both the woman he loves, even though she doesn't want him back, and his daughter. Like, and while he doesn't have the facts and he is wrong, everything that he did based on the amount of information he has was the correct thing to do for the first time in the show has he made all of the correct decisions based on the information presented to him.
correct. So that is not a terrible choice. I don't like him as a person, but he is a good choice for MVP this episode. Um, I, however, went with someone you probably won't agree with, but I chose Moira because
I do not agree with that.
I know, but she is like the only one who's listening to Viv and trying to save her, like in the way that is the correct way. Like she just wants her to leave this house, and she knows that that is the only answer. And while she is a little off the walls and doing it in an off the rail way, like she is trying to protect her and save her.
Yes. I don't know. I just still don't really understand um her loyalties to anything. Like yes, she wants to protect Viv. She seems to like Viv, but she was okay with feeding Viv weird brain, like raw brain
She
and
says it's
weird
for the
food.
baby, though.
Yes, okay, but is it because the baby's a fucking demon? Like, you know what I mean? She's listening to
Yeah.
Constance in terms of things like that that really she shouldn't. And she is mad at Hayden and like telling Hayden not to do things, but she's not discouraging Tate's antics. She's like giving him advice on how to do it better. I just don't understand where she's coming from.
I think she's just out for what's best for her. And she knows that this guy that she killed because he was gonna, tear the house down and not save her is gone. She has Viv for a bit longer now, so she has to make sure she stays tight with Viv to get what she needs. I think it's all in the idea of self-interest, but I do
Yeah,
think
but
that
if
she's the only
Viv
one actively trying to help her too.
yeah, but if Viv and Vi just disappear and leave the house like she's telling her to, how does that actually help her?
Because if someone else moves in that she doesn't know, that she doesn't have any control over, they could tear down the house. They could do all this stuff. At least with Viv, she knows that like
Yeah, but
she pretty much listens to
she
whatever she
told Viv to
says.
yeah, but she told Viv to leave. She's the one who told Viv to leave.
Yeah, because she's still concerned about her. She doesn't want her to die.
She
And she
doesn't make
knows that
any
Hayden's acting a fool.
sense. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand.
She's just conflicted. But
Makes no
yeah.
sense.
So do you have any predictions or feelings or final thoughts before we close it up?
No, I don't. Because everything that I thought I knew, I don't know. And I hate everyone involved in the show.
Well, good news. We get a new character next
Sorry,
week.
I do have one other story that I wanted to share that I forgot about. It was a really funny moment. I was watching the episode and I had started watching the episode and Dan was installing the air conditioner at his apartment and he walked back into the living room right as Pat said, maybe that's why I don't put my dick in you anymore. And he goes, babe, what are you watching? I said, it's American Horror Story. He goes, do we need to have a conversation? I was like,
It's almost over. You got like 4 episodes left.
no, we're
You're like
done.
2/3 of the way there. Tell him
Yeah,
to hang
no,
in
it's fine.
there.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's had
It's
a
fine.
really rough introduction to American Horror
Yeah, he
Story.
watched the school shooting and then just heard a gay couple fighting about sex, and that's his entire
Yeah.
context of the show.
Yeah. Poor Dan. That's fine.
I mean, to be fair, with his inability to stomach horror, a full introduction of the show wouldn't be any better,
Yeah.
but at least it would
That's
not
okay.
be as weird.
Yeah. Um, well, your teaser for next week is that we do get a new character in the next episode. Not, I don't remember how long. Like I said, we have 4 episodes left, so they're not gonna like steal the show or anything. But it is a character that is based off of a true crime story that everyone is familiar with, and that is all I will tell you. So stay tuned for that.
Okay.
Um, I cannot confirm nor deny if we get a break from Rubber Man because I do not remember that well about the episode. But we at least get a bit of a new storyline while we're in the episode.
Good,
So,
because I can handle more new storylines in this show.
at least it's a new storyline that you already know the story for. So you just don't know you do.
Right. Okay.
So nothing shocking. Nothing shocking. You're good.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. So if you have any thoughts, predictions, feelings, other feelings, you can email us deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can find us on all the social media at Death and Aliens. You can find me at CECloud13.
And you can follow me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar.
And stay tuned next Sunday for our next episode of Stargate SG1. We're rounding up those seasons, so join us.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Bye.